Mm-hmm. I'll just stay over here. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, my peoples? EmGo here, the freaking geek himself, and we have finally reached the end of our journey! We have taken a look at all 6 of Toyworld's Not Constructicons, and if you miss any of those reviews, you can check out the playlist linked in the description down below at your leisure. But now it is time to take all of these robots and slap them together and make us a constructor! But before we do that, I figured I would show off the completed box art here. So if you have all 6 boxes, and line them up, you get this nice picture here of Constructor. Very, very cool. One thing I never noticed before on the box, Decepticon symbol. Can they get in trouble for that? I think they're going to get in trouble for that. But anyway, who cares about boxes? Get out of here. Get out of here. It's time to build us a giant robot of murder death, so let's get right down to it. So here we have our 2 legs, we got Scrapper, we have Mixmaster, we have our crotch bot here, Long Haul. So let's get down to combining. Now, one issue right off the bat with this set. The first time I tried to combine these guys, the way this works is you have these bits right here, which will slide into these tracks right here. The first time I tried to combine these guys, this was ridiculously tight to the point where it got legit stuck. And it took me forever to disengage this. It was legit stuck, and I didn't know what I was going to do to get it undone. I was really afraid I was just going to have to, like, break this thing to take it apart. Luckily, by some miracle, I was able to take the pieces apart. But, yeah, if you're combining these guys for the first time and this is way too tight, do not force it. Don't force it. What I ended up doing was I just took a knife. You could take sandpaper, whatever's at your disposal. I just used a knife, and I just shaved down these side bits right here. Just shave down the sides on either side here. Just shave it all down a good bit, and that should help the problem. Should, anyway. It helped on my copy anyway, so. Again, the tightness issue could just be my copy, but again, just, you know, be wary when you're combining these guys for the first time. If it's too tight, don't force it. Just, you know, do a little modification to it. So anyway, hopefully this should work. So you just want to take this, line it up, and then just slide it forward. There you go. You see that slides in a lot easier. So slide that forward, like that. And you know what? We'll do Mixmaster now too, just so we have some balance. And it's the same thing. Shush! And you also have these 2 bits right here, which just slide in right there into those grooves. Same concept. And on Mixmaster, it works just fine. Just line that up, boom, just locks right into place. Now, what you're going to do is, you're going to take these little side panels right here. These are meant to come upward, and they're spring-loaded, but they're on very, very tight springs, and it's very hard. What's going to end up happening is this is going to just come around and sit over top of these 2 pegs to further lock the leg in place. And this is one of those things that is kind of, shush! That is kind of stupid tight, so I end up having to use a tool here. I just use my my letter opener to kind of get this pried out, you know, enough to where I can actually swing this around like that. There we go. Swing that around, and then it'll sit over the 2 tabs. Then you just push it in, and that locks it in place. And it sucks that you have to do it that way, but it's just that the spring is just way, way too tight. And it just makes it very hard to actually pull this piece out far enough that you can get that to turn. There you go. Now you swing that around, plug it in, and there you go. Now that's locked on dead solid. So we'll just do the same thing over here with Scrapper's side. Again, just gotta pry that. Shush! Bring that around and just clip that over. Like that. Same thing on the other side. See if I can actually do it with my fingers this time. Nope, I can't do it. It's just way too tight. Way too tight. Come on. Swing, 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 bada bada bada, swing, bada bada bada. There we go. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Swing that around, push that on, and there you go. Now those legs are locked on dead solid. So there we have that. Let me just readjust things a little bit here. There we go. So let me just readjust the camera real quick. Alright, so moving on to the upper body. So here we have Hook in his combined mode, and here we have the chest shield. Now how this works is, one thing I want to point out too, I did remove the transparent purple piece from the chest shield because I just thought it looked better, and you can put the repro label right there. It's hard to pry out that piece from the front, so you have to undo these 3 screws right here, and they can just get behind it and just pop it out from behind, and I think that looks a lot better. But anyway, what you want to do here is you want to take this black piece, and you just want to bring that down, and this peg right here will plug in right there, and then this black peg right here will just plug in right there. So you just take that, plug that on, plug it on, there you go, and just come around underneath. So sorry, it'll peg into the back port. My apologies. There you go. And there you have that. So now that's connected. He's hiding his face. It's right there. There you go. I leave these up because it makes this next step a little bit easier because it's not covering up everything. But basically how this is going to work is you have these 1, 2, 3, 4 pegs right here. And you have these 1, 2, 3, 4 clips right there. So you just line all that up. It does help if you take this piece here and just kind of angle it back a bit, and then you just come here and line everything up. It's easier if you do the clip the rear pegs in first. So just line those up first and just kind of push that down, and then bring the rest of it forward, and that should clip in right there. And there you have that. And then you come back here, and if you can see it, these 2 pegs will go into, again, don't know if you can see it, these 2 ports right there. So you just bring that there, plug that in, and there you have your backpack. All nice and secure like. So now it's time to connect the arms. So to do that, you're just going to take this piece right here, raise it up, we'll bring in our arm. Now one thing to note about the connector peg right here, the combiner peg, you can see there is this groove, and it only goes around 3 sides. You can see the top side doesn't have that groove. The way you want this oriented is you want those grooves on the side and on the bottom. That is the correct orientation, because in here you can see that you have those tabs that go along the sides and along the bottom, and that's what will lock that arm in place. So you just take that, slide it in from the top, make sure it's lined up, there you go. And then you just close that section back up, I'll clip that into place, and there you go, that arm's locked into place. Second verse, same as the first. Again, just make sure that peg is oriented the proper way. Slide that on. There we go, just drop that down, close that up, like that. And we try to bring him back here, bring that down, open that up, and there we have him. There we have Constructor in all of his glory. As you can see, he's large. He's quite large. He's a big boy. Definitely is. Now, if you want to get technical about how tall he is, to the top of his head, he stands at about 20 inches tall. So yeah, big boy, but quite impressive. I was getting close here, so you can see that head sculpt. Nice head sculpt. Got some nice gray detailings in there. Got a nice silver face. Got some red in there. Very nicely done. Very cool, and all around, you know, it's like I said, it's quite large, quite impressive, quite imposing. Yeah. Now, articulation-wise, the head can rotate. It will get kind of hindered by this bit right here and just how big his own noggin is, but you do have rotation. He can look up. He can look down. The arms are on a ratcheting joint. The ratchet isn't super strong. It could have been a bit tighter. You can see he can hold his arm up just fine, but the slightest tap and it just drops. So that ratchet could have been a bit tighter, but can do a full 360. You do have outward movement, and this ratchet's a lot tighter. You can pretty much get it up about that far, maybe. You could probably get a little further if you just work with those ratchets. But you have that. You do have an elbow joint with 90 degrees of bend, and you do have that cool little gimmick here of when you bend the elbow, the forearm will open up to reveal some details in there. There we go. Do it properly. You see the arm opens up to reveal some details, which is pretty cool. And if you don't want that to happen, you can just hold this steady and it'll rotate and not open. So it's kind of an optional feature, which is pretty cool. He does have a wrist swivel. All the fingers are individually articulated. The thumb is on a hinge at the base, so it can go up and down. It can also rotate, and you have a joint here and a joint here. And each finger is on a joint at the base, a joint and another joint. And you also have an outward joint here, so you can actually splay his fingers out, which is pretty cool. And you also have a joint, a ratcheted joint, to allow him to move his hand in and out like that. So you can just say, stop! You can do that. Stop in the name of love. So you can do that. So you can totally do a thumbs up. Hey! Do a perfect thumbs up, which I appreciate. I appreciate a toy that can give me a proper thumbs up, because no one else will. Anyway, he does have a waist swivel, although it will be hindered by the backpack, so you only get about that much rotation there on the waist swivel. You do have a ab crunch. You get 1-2 clicks of ab crunchy goodness, which is pretty cool. The hips. This is not easy to do because this guy is kind of heavy. Now these hip skirts right here are on a hinge that will move up, and they also will move out to the side to accommodate your leg movement. But your legs can move forward that much, and those ratchets are, it's pretty good. You have to give them a pretty good whacking from the drop, but they will hold their pose. So they can move up that much. They can move back that much. You do have a swivel right here. You do have outward movement. On a nice ratchet, you can pretty much do the full splits. Whoosh. This guy's heavy. Knee joint. Double knee joint right there. You see you get full range of movement. As you can see, as you bend the knee, this section here will kind of move and open up and reveal some pistons and inner workings, which is pretty cool. So you got that going on. And yeah, you also have ankle tilt. Hooray for ankle tilts on either side. So there you go. Also, one other point of articulation is you can slide these hips forward like that, and I figured out what that is for, and that is to allow even further movement on the hips. So if you move those hips forward and kind of move this off to the side, you can bring his leg like all the way up. You can have him doing some high kicks. He could be a cheerleader. Go team, go! Rah, rah, sis, boom, bah. I don't know. But anyway, that's what that's for. So there you have that. So very, very nicely articulated for being such a big toy. Now, whether or not you can get him balanced in any of these poses is a whole different story, but he's pretty well articulated. So there you have that. Of course, he can hold his gun. You know, just the tabs on either side, so he can hold it in his left or his right hand. And just bring that forearm up. Open his hand up, and the slot is right there. And you want to make sure that the thumb is down and out like that. And then you just plug that into his hand, wrap his fingers around it, and there you go. You got him holding his gun. Now, as far as the ratchet goes, when he's holding a gun, again, he can sort of hold his arm out with the gun, but not really. I have been able to get him to hold it out, but again, it's with varying degrees of success. But you can see that joint right there, it definitely needed to be tighter, because that just drops, unfortunately. And even if it does lock, it doesn't take much. Yeah, I have been able. There we go. See, it's you're playing with it. It's holding it up, but boop, that doesn't take much for his arm to just drop. So yeah, those rotational ratchets could have been a bit tighter, but there you have that, holding his gun. And of course he does have the rocket punch action, the spring-loaded fists. Just push that purple button on the side and pew, you can shoot off his hands. And you do have the optional drills if you want. If you want to give him drill hands, sure. Plug those in and voila, he has drill hands. Hooray, he can shoot drills. Boom, right there. Drill the rocket the punch. Sounds like something Japanese right there. I don't know. So, there you have that. Now let's get down to some comparisons. So here we have Voyager, Combiner Wars Prime, Leader, Megatron. You can see how he scales with those guys. Yeah, he's way bigger than those guys. Shock! I know, it's crazy. Here he is with Masterpiece, Optimus Prime, and Apollyon, the third-party Masterpiece Megatron. You can see how he scales with those boys right there. Prime is just looking down in shame for some reason. Why are my combiners that big? No, I don't know. And with some other third-party combiners, let's just move him off to the side here. Here he is with Warbitron's Bruticus. Hey, keep your chest up. There he is with Warbitron's Bruticus. You can see he just towers over Bruticus. Right there. And here he is with the King, the Predaking, the Feral Rex, who is a big boy on his own, and yeah, Devastator just towers over him as well. So, there you have that. And here he is with Unique Toys, Abominus. And again, as you can guess, he just towers over Abominus. So, there you have that one. And of course, the most important question, how does he scale with Metroplex? Well, there he is with Metroplex. And he is actually still shorter than Metroplex. I was expecting him to be about the same size, but no, he is still about a good head shorter than Metroplex. So, there you go. But he is still no slouch, I'll tell you that. He's definitely way heavier than Metroplex, I'll tell you that much. And finally, with the other Devastators, here we have the Combiner Wars Devastator. Here we have TFC's Uglies, Uglies, Uglies. And here we have the G1 Pressures, Devastating Pressures. So here we have all of the Devastators that I own that are complete so far anyway, because Gravity Builder's not done yet, but there we go. There's how he scales with the other versions of himself, official and otherwise. So, there you go. So, there you have that. There you have that. And there you have that. And one more thing to mention, depending on what pose you're putting him in and what surface you're putting him on, you do have these rubber pads that are included with Scrapper to put under his feet to keep him stable, which is very much appreciated. So yeah, there you go. There you have Constructor. He is a big boy. Let me straighten these things out. There we go. Yeah, he is a big boy, as you can see. Like I said, very large, very imposing, quite cool. Is this a perfect set? No, it definitely has its flaws, but still a very nice set. Oh, one more thing I totally forgot to talk about was the light up feature in the head here. You do have this switch in the back of his head. And you can turn it on and you get glowy eyes. And you do have the flip down visor. You just push this piece down right here and boop, right there. So you have the flip down visor and the glowy eyes. It looks very cool. I actually prefer him with the visor down. So that's how I'm going to display him. But yeah, this had that cool light up feature as well. It's pretty cool. Very cool. There you have that. So yeah, again, there you have Constructor. Very nice set. I do quite like it. Like I said, not without its faults. Definitely be mindful with the connection with Scrapper. I think this is a solid effort from Toyworld. Now, did they knock it out of the park? Not really, but they got a runner on third. Now, as far as the complaints that people have had about this set, like the parts forming, I mean, it's a combiner, which by definition is parts forming, so I don't really get the complaints. But I personally think they handled this the right way. With the scale they were going for, I'm glad they didn't try to incorporate all this extra stuff into the robots themselves, because they would have suffered greatly for it. And like I said, I think they handled this the right way, because the robots, the individual robots, they look good in their alt modes, they look good in their robot modes, and they do not suffer from having to carry all of this extra junk on them. And as far as, well, why don't these combined mode parts transform into other things? If that's what you like, that's what you like. Me personally, I don't need that. I mean, I don't mind it when that happens. I mean, I think it's pretty cool when the combined mode parts turn into guns and cannons. That's cool. I don't mind it, but it's not something that I personally need to happen. I'm fine with the hands just being hands. I'm fine with the feet just being feet. I'm fine with this crotch just being a crotch. You be a crotch. You be the best crotch you can be. But it's not a necessity for me personally. That's one thing about Combiner Wars that did kind of bug me a little bit with the hand-foot guns, because they were too small as feet, they were too big as hands, and as guns they just looked horrible, and I always left them off to the side. So I'm fine with these pieces just being what they are. I'm fine with the combined mode parts just being for combined mode, which is what they are intended to be for. Now, as far as value goes, as far as value for your money, I'm just going to put this guy off to the side here, and we're going to bring Hercules back in. Now, at the time that Hercules was released, this was, and I think still is, depending on where you buy him, I think they are still charging full price for him. This is a $600 set. This is a $600 set. And he is double the price. He is double, I mean, not double the price, he is double the size, double the everything, pretty much. You can see here, and the fact that this is a $600 set, and this is a $600 set, that's a dang good deal, if you ask me. I mean, I don't know about you, but that to me just looks like a very good, very good value for money. I mean, by all rights and accounts, this should cost, and we all know how third-party prices work by this point. By all rights and accounts, this should cost like $700, $800, maybe even $900. But the fact that this still costs as much as Hercules did, that's amazing. And the funny thing, going back to the parts forming thing, this does combine just like the G1 toy. The head's a separate piece, the chest shield's a separate piece, forearm's a separate piece, and the crotch is a separate piece. Just like the G1 toy. And this set is basically the G1 toys on steroids. That's basically what this is. Again, I think this is a solid effort from Toyworld. Not without its flaws, but still a solid effort. Now, do you need another Devastator in your collection? That's up to you. Is this worth the price? That's up to you. Is this better or worse than any other Devastator that's on the market right now? That is up to your personal taste and preferences. I originally wasn't going to go in on this set. I believe when I reviewed the first Gravity Builder dude, I said that, yeah, I made up my mind. I'm going to go with Gravity Builder. I'm not going to go in on this set. But when I saw the pictures of Scavenger and Bone Crusher after they were released, those first pictures, I looked at the pictures and I was like, yeah, they look really good, you know. And I changed my mind and I went in on this set, and I don't regret my purchase. I'm glad I bought this set. I think it's really good for what it is. Very big, very imposing, very impressive, but again, not without its flaws. Now, this is just my personal opinion. If you agree with me, cool. If you disagree with me, cool. Nobody's wrong here. My personal opinion, I feel like if you're looking for a set of quote-unquote masterpiece Constructicons, and Combiner Wars Devastator isn't doing it for you, I think this is the closest you can get to that. I think. You know, the designs, as you've seen, are not slavishly G1. They take some liberties with the designs. Not slavishly G1, but close enough, and I think the scale is close enough that these can stand in as Masterpiece Constructicons if that's what you're looking for. But again, that's just my opinion, and all just boils down to your taste, your preferences, and your budget. So, there you go! We're finally done with this big brute of a bot. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you would like a constructor or any of Toy World's other offerings, you can always check out BigBadToyStore.com for availability. There will be a link in the description down below, and again, you can check out the constructor playlist for any reviews you may have missed, also linked in the description down below, so check that out as well. And I think that's it, so don't forget to check out EmGo's, check out Lori Plan, follow me on Twitter, all of that good stuff down in the description below, and I think that's pretty much all there is to say. So, there is the Toy World Constructor, and this is EmGo saying, remember, you don't stop playing because you grow old because you stop playing. Be geek, be proud, boom in your face. Well, here you are, Mr. Shockwave, your brand new game room. What do you think? You didn't do anything. What? The room, you didn't change anything in the room. The room looks exactly the same. Seemingly to the untrained eye, but if you noticed, there is a video game system there. But it's not even connected to a TV! Look, you wanted a game room. There's a game in here. Voila. Game room. But this has taken you months! What have you been doing this whole time? Creating art, which apparently you cannot appreciate. Whatever. Boys, he doesn't like it. Let's just tear it all down. What? Tear it all down? Devastator, demolish! No! I changed my mind! I love the room! I love it!